Valley, but we have other locations as well in Singapore, China, Japan, and Germany, where we have our Startup Autobahn program, which is very successful. Our partners there, they did over 100 pilot projects in the last year. And right now, we're working also on implementing something like that in Detroit. We had two very successful events this year, and we're looking into opening that next year.
Here in Silicon Valley, we've had a very busy last couple of months since our last expo. We have had over 100 deal flow sessions the last 6 months. And during our Anchor Selection Day, we had 290 unique deep dive sessions to learn more about the startup companies, as well as over 50 office hours. Since inception in 2016, our mobility program and IoT programs have made over 40 investments and have had over 300 startup companies go through our 3-month program. And now to welcome on stage our founder and CEO, Saeed Hamidi, to share a few words.
Thank you so much, Alan and Johannes. I feel like I'm like a broken record coming on stage in the last 2 days. But I just wanted to welcome everybody. It has been an incredible year, 2018, both here in Silicon Valley, as well as our operations in China, Singapore, Jakarta, and Europe. To give you a little bit of a history, we started our operation in Germany, in Berlin, about 6 years ago with Axel Springer, the media company. And together, we invested in 103 companies. We call it pre-seed, seed round investment, and then we accelerated them. It was, I believe, last night I got an email that one of the startups called N26 that we invested in 5 years ago, actually the two founders, Maximilian and I have to remember, Valentino, they came from Vienna to Berlin to meet us, and we gave them 25,000 euro for 3 months to sort of build their banking product. It was actually a UI for elderly people and children to be able to do banking on mobile easier. Then when we invited Early Bird and some other VCs to put in the seed round with us, 6 months later, $1.5 million, one of the VCs says, why do you limit it to children and to the elderly people? Let's just have everybody do banking on mobile. And their claim to fame is they open up your account in 3 minutes on your mobile. And last night, then Peter Thiel came. We did the sort of VC round at 5 million valuation. Then Peter Thiel from California came to Berlin, and he met them and was super excited. He put in 10 million euro at 50 million valuation. And about 6 months ago, we had the CTO of Allianz, Salmas, here yesterday. They met, and Allianz and Tencent put in 150 million euro at 500 million valuation. From 500,000 to 500 million took about 4 years. Last night, I got a text from the CFO of N26. They just raised money at $2.2 billion valuation. The morale of the story is you can find great entrepreneurs anywhere, in Berlin, in Stuttgart, in Shanghai. But quite frankly, what we think we have done for N26 is to help them during the acceleration phase, raising money in their A round, B round, And then, quite frankly, this is mobility and IoT session. We feel if you have a great technology for connected car, autonomous car, we really can connect you to the right people, right automotive OEMs, right tier 1, tier 2 supplier in Europe, in China, and in United States. And then going back to Germany, in this past, we really are proud of Startup Autobahn with Philip and the Mercedes team and Porsche team. We feel is the best innovation platform for mobility in the world. Philip, why don't you stand up? Are you talking later on the, yeah. Yeah. So, quite frankly, without him and without Mercedes engagement, that would not have been possible. Then based on the success we had with Axel Springer and Startup Autobahn, Mercedes, Porsche, etc., last year we opened up an office in Munich for retail with Media Saturn and Lidl. We started a vertical for health tech with Roche, and we started InsurTech with Allianz and Munich Re. 6 months ago, we opened the FinTech office in Frankfurt with 7 banks, and now we are talking about possibly opening an office in Hamburg for supply chain and logistics. Why I am mentioning this, it's been really a whirlwind trip. We would love to invest in Germany in about 30 startups per year, like hopefully 10 in mobility and IoT, 10 in fintech and insurance, and 10 in others. And I invite everybody in the room here to join this innovation platform, may it be in Germany or China, and please give us a feedback what is working for you and what we need to improve to get more benefit out of it for everybody, for our corporate partners, for our startups, for our investors. Quite frankly, this innovation platform and expo, it's really, I want you guys to know it is yours, and let us build it together to the best it can be in the world. And again, welcome everybody. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Said. So now we're coming to one of my favorite parts here during our expo, our Corporate Innovation Award winners for mobility this year. As you guys know, we're choosing a company for this innovation award who is very active into our ecosystem and in our community, and who works on a lot of pilot projects with startups, and potentially works also on implementations. So the winner of this year's Corporate Innovation Award, they just joined this January our platform, so about 11 months ago. They got very active very quickly. So during their deal flow sessions, they had about a 50% hit rate transitioning from startup introductions to pilot projects, which is a huge success. They worked on several pilot projects. They moved in our building in August. And right now we're working on a big event with them, which we will have here in January, where they will have some amazing announcements. So the Corporate Innovation Award winner for this Mobility Summit is Yanfeng. And I wanted to welcome Leo and Jeff here on stage to share some words. Like a present here for you guys.
Excellent. Won't say what it is.
Hello, everyone. I would like to say thank you, first of all, to Said for having created this space just for us. also to congratulate him for the wonderful success that Plug and Play is. I would like to thank you to Soban, to Johannes, and to Alice for having taken good care of us. We wouldn't be as successful if it weren't for you, so thank you. I would like to say thank you to all the startups that have worked with us and the ones that are still working with us. And also, it's important to highlight that we wouldn't be also this successful if we haven't had the recognition from the highest levels of leadership in our organization, right? So the success we have is due to their commitment and support. And to talk a little bit more about that, I would like to introduce you to Jeff. Jeff is our Advanced Product Development and Sales Leader for North America. And
he's amazing. Morning, everyone. I got to say, first thing, I talked to my mom the other day. She was a little bit surprised that anybody would ever want to hear me speak. And the reason for that is that I graduated from college with a philosophy degree. Woo! For all you philosophers out there, I'll be here later if you want to hang out and talk. Anyway, one of the things that we get super excited about right now relative to working with Plug and Play is the fact that, and there's a fair number of my colleagues across the industry sitting here in front of me, we're going through some really crazy stuff right now. The whole idea of what mobility is changing. I've been in this business for 25 years, and it's always been this kind of incrementalism in all 25 of those years. And for the first time, there's a sense of, oh, shit. This is going to be completely different than what we did for the last 25 years, or frankly, the last 100 years. You think of the greatest innovations in automotive in the last 100 years. Dual zone temperature control. Woo! Denzo, where are you? Come on, you guys. It's been very incremental innovation. And now as we move into this world of mobility that's changing, it's the Wild West of what's possible. So to be frank with you, that's a big part of YF's commitment to Plug and Play and with startups, frankly, around the world, is that we know that our world is getting rocked, and we know that we can't do all the things that we need to do to get to where we need to be by ourselves. Can't do it. If we tried to do it by ourselves, we would go out of business. That's a full recognition on our part. My guess is a lot of my colleagues around would either agree with that or they haven't thought about it long enough. So what's coming in January? So this is something we're super excited about. We've historically always done auto shows or CES, all of these kind of things, where you have this unveiling of kind of what you think the future is. We're out of that. We're done with that. So in January 23, 24, 25, you got flyers on your tables. We are going to have what we're calling a signature event. We are bringing 2 trailers of product here in Plug and Play. We're going to, sorry about this for people who work in this office, we're going to rope off the parking lot, and I have a couple of days where that's on display. In the one trailer, there will be a vehicle of what we think is what the future of mobility looks like relative to an interior perspective. So if you're an exterior lighting company or an exterior body company, you can look at the vehicle and say, well, it's not all that inspiring. Very intentionally so. We don't care. The interior, though, from an experience standpoint, is going to be a radical departure, and we've been working on it for the last 2 years. At YF, we always do a year of research, 6 months of design, and then 6 months of build. This is where we're going to unveil that vehicle. Y'all have the opportunity to go see that, but probably more relevant to you guys, there's a second trailer that has all of the technology in it on display that is represented by what's in the vehicle. So I saw the vehicle, it's awesome, but how does it work? You go to the second trailer, and that's where all the technology is. In that second trailer, there's going to be 5 startups that have technology that we could not invent ourselves that will be on display to help them gain traction on their technology, commercializing that into the automotive space. This conversation that's happening right now, I shouldn't be here. I've got a day job where I'm doing other stuff. Roman Vasilev is the guy who would normally do this. He's in China right now. And the reason he's in China right now is because he's having commercial negotiations with a startup from Plug and Play with a customer in China. Because at the end of the day, all of us love technology, but we really, really, really need to make money. And that's it at the end of the day, of taking your idea that's awesome and getting it in front of the person who can write you a check that says, I love your technology and I want to put it in consumers' hands. And that's where YF is super excited about partnering with all of y'all to say, as you have ideas and we can proof of concept and develop that with you, bring it to customers and get it commercialized and let customers win, let YF win, let you guys win. It's kind of a cool new world order. So come January 23, 24, 25, you're going to see some unbelievable stuff from a vehicle standpoint, as well as kind of some of your peer startups and how we're helping to demonstrate and market their technology. Thanks, everyone.
All All right, so before we announce the new partners that have joined the platform, I would like to say thank you to everybody in the room, because none of this would be possible without the support from here. Thank you, everyone.
All right, so the first company we'd like to announce as a new partner is Porsche Consulting. So if the team from Porsche Consulting could come up here to share some words.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Doug Reinhardt. I'm joined by two of my colleagues today, Jason Waterman and Josh Miller. And we're with Porsche Consulting. I can't tell you how excited we are for this day and for the opportunity to say hello to all of you. I think you've met my colleagues already. This has been a long time coming. We've been treated very well by our friends at Plug and Play, and now's the time for us to be an active part of this community, and we're really excited about that. For those of you that don't know who Porsche Consulting is, we are part of the Porsche AG organization, 100% owned by Porsche. We have 9 offices now, worldwide about 550 employees. And we just opened our office here in Silicon Valley. We're based in the Corporate Innovation Center, the Electronics Research Laboratory of the Volkswagen Group. We do a lot of work across the brands of the Volkswagen Group, Volkswagen, Audi, of course, Porsche, Bentley, Bugatti, all of those entities. We do a lot of work around the world, but we also have a lot of corporate clients. We're here because our intent is to help connect our corporate clients, wherever they are, to this community here in Silicon Valley, to be an active participant and also to drive better results from their innovation and co-development efforts. So that's really the main reason that we've established the office here, and also to rethink our business strategy now that we heard that dual zone climate controls are not going to be what it all was meant to be. So we'll help our company as well rethink parts of its strategy, but we're really excited to interact with all of you from the corporate side and then also from the startup community. Just so exciting to see our name finally up there. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, very good. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Doug. Oh. So next up, we'd like to welcome Philip on stage from Schaeffler.
So, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for having me on stage to say a few words about Schaeffler and why we're particularly interested in having a presence in Silicon Valley, as well as our partnership with Plug and Play. So, a little bit about Schaeffler for those of you who may not have familiarity with the brand and what we do. We are primarily an automotive and industrial market segment component supplier. So we have a long history in very mechanically oriented components, things like bearings, or in the automotive space, engine componentry, transmission, chassis, active chassis, of course, of increasing relevance with things like autonomous vehicles on everyone's headlines, but of course also a big and growing presence in the e-mobility space. On the industrial side, again, very much our traditional components, things like bearings and derivatives thereof, but things like the connected future that we all imagine and digital factories where things are now very much a linked ecosystem. So in Industry 4.0, also of growing relevance to our business and everyone's future. And so it's with those motivations in mind that we established an office out here in Silicon Valley, actually about a year ago to this week now. So up until then, we've been slowly understanding the ecosystem and how we might fit into all of the exciting activities taking place in Silicon Valley. And it's, again, with that end in mind that we said, just as we heard from our colleagues from Yangfen a moment ago, we can't do this alone. We really need partnerships. And as we're a global company that operates in every market in the world, so again, just a bit of perspective, we have over 90,000 employees, over 70 manufacturing facilities, now 14 R&D centers. We understand that we can't do this alone, and so partnership with facilitators or accelerators like Plug and Play, allowing us access to and accelerating the pace of technology introduction, partnering with startups, understanding how the world is quickly changing around us, and being a part of that, not just an observer, are key motivations for this partnership. So I'm excited as we move forward. I should mention, first off, there's no I in team, so it's not just me, even though I am fully 1/3 of our entire presence in Silicon Valley. I do have 2 other colleagues, and now that we're becoming more entrenched in this ecosystem, you can look forward to seeing us, especially on Friday at the pitch sessions. But anytime that you see us at the hot desk space, please come up. I'd be happy to have a conversation and see how we could potentially work together in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Philip.
Next, I would like to welcome Barry Jones from Leggett & Platt Automotive.
Thanks very much.
This is actually the better mic. Should we trade?
Thank you.
Let's trade. That's the better.
Is that one? Okay, thank you. Hello, Saeed. Good to see you.
Great. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Name is Barry Jones. I'm the president for the operations in North America for the automotive side of Leggett & Platt, and I also carry the CTO responsibility for our global operations. So today I've got a couple of my key technical people joining me, so very excited to be here. Just a little bit about Leggett & Platt. It's a name probably not many of you have heard of, but it is a very large globally operating company. As I said, we work out of the automotive side of that, and we're in a very similar point to where many companies are in the automotive industry right now, is really looking at the future and figuring out where do we go, what do we participate in, what's the right technology. We joined Plug and Play in October as an eco-partner. I'm very excited to be here. Alan and Saeed have been very gracious in their engagement with us, and like everybody, really looking forward to understanding where things are going with the startup companies that are engaged with Plug and Play. We've already interacted with the Tokyo office, which was very nice a couple of weeks ago, and we're looking forward to the Europe engagement at the Expo in February. So, like everybody, really interested in where this relationship is going to go, and just want to say thanks to everybody for allowing us to participate in this. So, thank you.
The next partner is joining us in the IoT platform, but has to fly back to Qatar. Please welcome Damien Chappelle from Ooredoo.
Thanks, Sam. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me up on stage. We like it short and sweet at Ooredoo. We like to do things quickly, bring things to market, turn it around and improve upon it, so I won't spend very much time up on stage. We're the first operator in the world to launch 5G, first operator to launch an all-digital automated eSIM experience, and we're super excited to be plugged into Plug and Play and take some of the innovation and excitement that we've seen the last few days, bring it back to Qatar, launch it first in the world, spin it out to the other 150 million customers that we have across the world, and then do it again and again and again. So with that, thank you so much. And thank you to the team. It's been an amazing experience so far, and we can't wait to get to work. So thank you.
So next, we are going to welcome Mary Yang from NIO. For those of you who are not familiar with NIO, it's a little different from the traditional EVs that you find in China because they focus on like speed, premium, reliability. She's going to share some of her insights into the company and explain why they're better than the rest.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. I'm Mary. I am responsible for business development and corporate development at NEO. And as Alex mentioned, NEO is a very unique type of company. We've actually had the opportunity to think very differently about mobility. I'm hoping to share some of that with you this morning. A little bit of background on myself. I've been in the tech industry my entire career. I've worked with startups, so this is ranging from 5-person startups with a little bit of seed money to large corporates like a Cisco, where I had the opportunity to run M&A investments. So I've seen both sides of a lot of the incredibly exciting opportunities working with partners, with ecosystems, as well as with investors and corporate partners. I joined NEO about 3 years ago to really take on this journey of transformation in the mobility industry. And let me step into that a little bit and share with you both the journey from NEO's perspective, a few of the insights that we've had as a company, as a startup in this space, and then also invite you for partnership and collaboration as we take on this journey together. So NEO is more than a car company. And our founder, William Lee, back in 2012, he looked around the world around him and said, I am inundated with endless smog, unrelenting traffic, and really the daily grind of the commute and the day-to-day. And what can I do to change this? As an entrepreneur, he's a serial entrepreneur, so this is his third company. Also third company to go public. He basically said, how can I fundamentally change what the world can be? And I don't want my kids to grow up in this world. I want the world to be different. He, like all good entrepreneurs, sat down with his college friend and brainstormed. So his college friend actually comes from one of the electric vehicle companies in China. They sat down and they looked around and they said, what can be different here? And within about 2 years, they actually came up with 3 fundamental principles of how this could be different. Number 1, we established NEO with this vision of becoming a global startup. So as you think about the world today, talent is not limited by geography. Resources are everywhere. And we want to be able to tap into the best-of-breed talent across the globe. So despite being a startup from the ground up with 0 resources, they basically were fundamentally committed to the idea that NEO would be a global startup, and we would actually look at what's possible. How do we actually bring excellence from across the globe? 2, how do we actually create an opportunity to redefine what auto and tech can be together? There's a lot of brilliant work being done through existing OEMs, through the tier 1s that are in industry today. They've optimized, they have brilliant people. As a startup, we're not going to replicate what they do. That doesn't make sense, right? They have decades of experience and expertise. What can we do differently because we are a startup? And with that in mind, we actually thought about how do we bring together automotive and tech in a unique way, unconstrained by the fact that we have no organizational structure to start. We're not limited by what's been done before. How do you reimagine that, right? So it was literally blue sky thinking from the ground up, and then finally, what they've also come to is that the vehicle is one element of that end-to-end mobility experience. It's a very critical element, but it is not the single element. A lot of the pain points from a user perspective really sits at the intersection of car and beyond car. So we actually have a whole set of services that we think of as beyond car. And as NEO, we've actually focused very much around both discovering as well as addressing those pain points. So in terms of the global organization, at start, and we literally started the company this way, we had global centers of excellence. So starting from China, where we actually have centers of excellence in Shanghai and Beijing focused on the vehicle engineering, manufacturing, some of the vehicle software design, to London, where our performance vehicle program sits. So this is our Formula E, our supercar program, and some of the advanced vehicle engineering. In Munich, we established our design center, where that's the source of our interior-exterior design teams. And then finally, in Silicon Valley, this is where the best-of-breed tech and technology talent sits. So we bring all of these teams together as a global organization, and we actually we jointly develop and collaborate across the globe. This is a view in our Shanghai headquarters. And again, even the buildings and the environments that we actually sit, very similar to this plug-and-play concept, we actually want to facilitate collaboration. So there's a lot of openness, there's a lot of opportunity and space for the teams to work together. Our global leadership combines auto and technical expertise. So if you look across our global leadership team, William, who I mentioned, he's an internet entrepreneur, third company, Neo is his third company. Li Hong comes from Procter & Gamble from a global branding perspective, as well as from Chery, which is a Chinese EV company. Jack Chang, he had been a senior executive at Ford for a number of years. He was the chairman of Fiat China, as well as the chairman of Magna Morelli China. So deep expertise in terms of what it means to actually develop the right systems, the right processes, and right excellence in terms of our vehicle programs. And finally, Louis, who is our CFO, huge experience in terms of bringing companies to market. I think Neo was his 6th company that went public, and he had been the board of JD.com, which is the equivalent of Amazon.com in China, as well as Yum Brands, which again, global branding. From a portfolio perspective, we looked into the market, and we actually said we need to build, as a startup, we need to build a portfolio that actually addresses a number of different audiences. So we started off with Formula E racing. We actually developed then a supercar, and then we have some concept vehicles and a production vehicle, and I'll step into those one at a time. Our Formula E team, we were actually in the inaugural season of Formula E, and we were fortunate enough to actually win in that inaugural season by a single point. So it literally came down to the wire. Very exciting season for us. The EP9, this is our supercar. So this is the $1.2 million supercar that's bespoke. So I believe there's roughly 17 of these made, custom made to order. And it has broken world records at the Nürburgring, at the Paris Circuit, at the Circuit of Americas in Austin. And it is beautiful machine. So if you're ever interested, we actually have a model of this in our office in San Jose. So please do come and visit us. Neo Eve, this is our concept vehicle. And for those of you that are less familiar with Neo, E for us is our vision for the future. We believe that in the future, your vehicle actually becomes a new living space. This, both from an exterior and an interior perspective, and this shows a little bit of what Eve's concept would be. It is about flexibility. It is about spaciousness. It is about the idea that it is another space for you to work, to play, to relax. And there's a number of technologies, both in terms of the auto technology, as well as the core underlying compute platform that we've actually developed to support the set of capabilities that would be available in this type of vehicle. Eve was launched in 2017 at South by Southwest, and we had over 5,000 people come and experience the vehicle with us. The Neo ESA, this is our production vehicle. So this is the 7-seater SUV that was launched in June this year. We've shipped close to 5,000 vehicles at this point, and there's a number of unique capabilities that the ES8 brings to market, including the concept that this is very much tied to our ecosystem of services, and I'll share that with you shortly. When we actually thought about the ES8, we thought about the user. What are their specific pain points? And within the China market, because the government's actually changed from single-child to two-child policy, we actually found that there was an opportunity to develop a larger vehicle, one that actually suited family and family type of services. So a lot of the related services around the ES8 is with this type of user in mind. And as I mentioned, close to 5,000 vehicles delivered. One of the unique capabilities that we've developed as NIO is this idea around power swap. And let me share with you a little bit about what that means for the users in China. So in China, as users think about electric vehicles, which is actually very exciting, very interesting, there is actually not the infrastructure in place, nor the opportunity for infrastructure. Most people live in high-rise apartment buildings. They don't own their parking space. They don't own the property that would actually typically here, people would have access to building out their own home chargers. So we believe that in order to solve this problem, we would actually create this opportunity for one click for power. So there's a whole power swap infrastructure around our solution for users. And with that, it's a single app. You can actually have someone come to you, deliver power, or similarly, you can actually bring the vehicles into power swap stations. So our vision is that this is a unique experience, and we do offer different approaches in terms of accessing power, but we also believe that the unique capability there, which is a power swap in less than 3 minutes, very, very unique and very, very important in terms of users, in terms of their accessibility. From a service perspective, again, we wanted to change the concept of service. We believe that instead of going to a service and maintenance center, we actually have the opportunity, again, to change that experience into a mobile experience. From your app, you should be able to one-click to service. You have, it's almost a concierge-like service where people come to you and they actually will take your car or ideally do some mobile servicing as well. And finally, for us, the most unique aspect of our broader experience is the concept of a NIO house. And this is our idea of a living space for the NIO community. So the way that we thought about this is this should be a combination of an Apple store and a Soho house. It is a unique place for you and your NIO friends to gather. It is also a way to showcase some of NIO's core technologies. This is something that we've actually had the opportunity to build out across 13 cities to date within China. And we're going to continue to build those out because this is a full experience. This is something where, back to the original vision that William had for this new world for mobility, you should be able to drive your car up, concierge service for service, maintenance, anything else you need for the vehicle. Spend some time with your friends, relax, have coffee. And NIO houses are actually uniquely located to be in city centers. So they're essentially an oasis. It's an oasis for people to relax, to actually get out of the daily grind. And what we found is actually this has been a huge, huge success in terms of concept. This actually creates a community and an environment where NIO users get to spend time together. A lot of related services there, and here we actually are very, very open to working with partners to think about what else could be part of this whole user experience and community. So this is a little bit of a view in terms of some of the space that's available in a NEO house. So we actually have living gardens, we actually have libraries, we have a living room space, we have coffee bars, and every NEO house has some specific unique features. We also have this concept of an online community. So in addition to the physical community of being at a NEO house, we also have NEO app. And this is a community where users get together. There's an opportunity for them to provide real-time feedback in terms of what I love about the car, what's not working for me. And again, similarly, there's a concierge service type of idea. Each of the users have NEO fellows that are assigned to them, that actually responds to them, that actually spends time in this community space. This is an opportunity for people to bring NEO moments. So really, one of our users actually took the vehicle, drove around the entire perimeter of China. It took him 2 months, and that was his NEO moment, and he shared that in the NEO app. Separately, there's a number of activities. So there's both online, offline activities where NEO users get together. They get together to watch Formula E races, for example. There's a concept of friends and certainly surprises. So there's a curated experience. So we actually had the opportunity to create a jointly branded event with one of the major designers. And it was a runway event. It was literally a one-time event where, again, there's a shared experience for a number of the users. In terms of the production model, we had the opportunity to work with existing OEMs to leverage their manufacturing know-how as well as capacity to bring a number of these vehicles to market. So we have our factory in Hefei, and that's where our vehicle manufacturing sits. We also have powertrain manufacturing facilities in Nanjing. We have our inverter and battery manufacturing facilities, again, in other cities in Jiangsu. So, in addition to the vehicle programs themselves, we also look at building out a community, excitement around where NEO can be in the future. So we sponsor university students that are actually studying automotive in China, and we actually sponsor them in this, what we call the NEO Formula E races. So it's a student-run program. And finally, just to share a little bit of the milestones that I think we've talked about. NEO was established in November 2014. And since then, we've actually had a number of very, very exciting moments, including the establishment of our Germany office, our San Jose office, as well as Formula E wins. And in the Circuit of Americas, where we actually won the EV world record, we also had the opportunity to establish the world record for an autonomously driven EV, so driverless lap around Circuit of Americas. And we have, here, I'm going to jump through some of this because it's a bit long. So we do have this event called a NEO Day. So similarly to launches that exist with the tech industry, we actually have a day where we actually bring in our top customers, our top partners, and we create an event around that to really launch our new vehicles. So last December, we were able to launch our ES8, and this year in December, we're going to launch the ES6, which is our next 5-seater SUV. And let me just click there. And then finally, in September this past year, we had the opportunity to IPO at the New York Stock Exchange, and that was a huge milestone for the company at large. And one of the unique points for that, which I think not everybody actually saw or necessarily noticed from the media perspective, but back to our focus around user experience. For the IPO itself, what we actually focused on was the users. So the folks that you actually see on the podium, they're actually users. There was nobody from the company on podium. It was actually user-driven, because we're a user-led company. And I thought that was actually very, very important and unique for us, both in terms of who we are as a company, but also the relevance to the user community. And finally, we produced our 10,000th vehicle just recently, and that was a huge milestone for the organization. That was a ton of fun. So, with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you for the time. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. But I would invite all of you to consider collaboration with us as we take the journey to the next generation of mobility together.
Yeah, I have it. Thank you. Thank you, Mary, for your great presentation. I'm sure all of you are so ready and eager to hear startup pitches. My name is Risa Ishii. I just joined Plug and Play this year, and I will be emceeing today for mobility. So I have two quick announcements. If you would like, for those who are going to CES the next month, could you show your hands? Great. A lot of people. So we're actually having a networking event on January 9th, Wednesday afternoon. So if you would like to know more information, please contact our director, Sopan, or Alice about it. Another thing, just a friendly reminder, on your badges on the backside, there's a link where you can see all of the startup information, and you can also vote on it. So please vote on after this mobility session, please vote for your best startup. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Gio from Thor Trucks. He actually previously worked in a Mongolian venture capital. So if any of you would like to tackle that market, please make sure you talk to him. Welcome, Gio, on stage.
Thank you. Hello, guys. My name is Gio. I am with Thor Trucks. We are a Los Angeles-based transportation lab focused on revolutionizing mobility for fleet customers. So there's been a ton of interesting technology going to mobility, some of which we'll hear about today. Innovations in electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles and connectivity, but none of it matters to our customers unless we can make it affordable and easy to adopt. So that's exactly what Thor is focused on. The reason we know about this, and we're well poised to solve these problems, is that we've actually done it before. We were fleet operators with 250 trucks in Southern California in materials hauling fleets. And so we experienced firsthand the pain of operating trucks, constant maintenance and downtime, volatility in your fuel costs, dumb, unconnected hardware. But a really important one in California, and increasingly in other parts of the world, is compliance and keeping your old diesel engines in compliance. So in response to some of those challenges, we built an amazing team of experts in vehicle development, battery and software, and energy management from companies that we look up to. And instead of just kind of holding on to this dream on a napkin, we actually went out and did it and have built and put trucks on the road. So we have a small fleet of pre-production vehicles on the road. That is our ET1, which is an 80,000-pound hauling Class 8 truck. So it's still focused on short distance, but we wanted to actually display the technology instead of just working on it for years and years and years. We started the company about 2 years ago and got that truck running in the first 7 months. So we built the first commercially viable electric truck platform that has a much simpler powertrain than what you'd find in a diesel vehicle. It has about 20 moving parts in the powertrain. It is a zero-emissions vehicle, so it's allowing our customers to leapfrog regulations. It's high performance and can beat a diesel truck up and down the road all day and all night. And it can save our fleet customers, cut their operational expenses in half. So rather than focus on some of the edge cases like long-haul trucking, Thor is focused on the 70% of the commercial vehicle market that is short-haul, return to base operations so their customers have a place to come back home and charge, customers that have highly predictable routes like UPS, and stop and go driving routes like a lot of delivery and pickup and delivery routes. So as a company, Thor is focused mainly on 3 key areas: a patent-protected battery that is among the safest and most affordable in the market, a modular vehicle platform, so it's a modular chassis platform that can scale across commercial vehicle applications, and innovation in the delivery model, targeting mobility as a service rather than the old model of just selling a truck and hoping the customer can figure it out and will come back to buy parts in the future. So it's been a busy 2 years for us. We've grown the team to about 35 people, won a few awards, collected $40 million in orders from blue chip customers like UPS, and we are now ready to scale and put production vehicles on the road next year. Thanks.
Hi. Thank you. Next up, we have Andy from Owl Cameras. He actually taught his sons how to break into cars in shady streets in Palo Alto to, of course, save babies and dogs, right? Please welcome him on stage.
Okay, hi, everybody. My name's Andy Hodge, and I'm lucky enough to be the CEO and a founder of Owl Cameras, Inc. Our mission is to deliver security that goes everywhere you go. This is the Owl car camera. We started selling it in March. What it does is it stops unfair blame and it stops car thieves. These are just 12 examples of many you can find on our website where our users have used the camera to catch thieves on the left. They all have that wonderful moment of, uh-oh, I think I'm on camera. And then on the right, examples where our camera has been used to help in car accidents be clear about who is at blame. We're a Series A company. We started selling the RCam in March. We have over $5 million in sales, all direct to consumer so far. This is a faster sales ramp than Nest, Ring, or Dropcam had. We're now starting partnerships with fleet telematic operators, insurers, telcos, and OEMs that can use our camera and service. This shows you how fast and how far we've grown this year. It's been fantastic. Every dot is a single Owl camera. And this shows what we look like in all the major cities. We built this company because we saw a chance to build a category again. I'm lucky enough, and a lot of the people that are on the team were part of these programs. First generation, iPod, iPhone, HoloLens, and Dropcam. These are all projects I worked on. And we saw a chance to really bring game-changing technology to the security space. Our goal is to prevent and protect by making video security mobile and smart. 90 people will die today in cars in the US. 1 in 5 families are hit with a crash or a break-in every single year. There are 74,000 crash-ins or break-ins every single day. It does over $111 billion just in property damage, and that ignores injury. So what we built was a network where you have a much smarter camera connected over a 4G network to a cloud service. Locally, a large processor and a lot of memory mean that we're recording all the time when you're driving, we're on guard when you're parked, and we can upload the key information. That means that from the cloud, we can send instant alerts to your phone when something's happening, we can give you a live view of what's happening on your car, and you can always see the past history of your driving. This is kind of our AI LTE superpower. Our network delivers instant video so you can catch thieves, document who dented your car, and have the proof for the officer after the crash. All these immediately on your phone. This is something dash cams and no one else can do.
This is the Owl Car Cam, the only security camera that protects your car, driving, and parked. Owl has inside and outside cameras that you can access from anywhere. So when this happens, Owl sends HD video right to your phone. With Owl, you won't get blamed for an accident that's not your fault. Thieves know to stay away or get caught on camera. And those other moments, yep, on your phone, ready to share. So get smart about car security.
So thank you. You can learn more and see more examples at owlcam.com.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Eric Antonsen from AI-IPOD. But he's also a CTO of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Please welcome him on stage. Sorry.
Okay. Well, good morning. I was asked for a fun fact. Some of the other speakers gave them up. I'm one of the few people on this planet who's had the privilege of being able to drive a vehicle on another planet through my time at JPL. That's a story for another time. So I'm here to talk about AI-IPOD. The pain point that we've identified relates actually quite directly to the previous speaker, but more actively, and that is risk and safety. As vehicles get more and more automated and ultimately become autonomous, how can risk be assessed? Cities are concerned about this. Manufacturers are concerned about it. The software developers need simulations that can help assess safety and risk. And so we've been working on developing a mobility data environment specifically for the purpose of assessing risk. And I'm going to skip over this chart in the interest of time and illustrate with this some of the things that we're doing. Gathering data from existing sensors. There are a large number of sensors in the urban environment. The critical space for future mobility is the urban environments where most of the miles, passenger miles traveled occur. And there's a large number of sensors. Those sensors are not utilized in an effective way. They're used for traffic management, timing of traffic lights, but not for assessing safety or other aspects because, of course, they're focused on human drivers today. But in the future, they'll be focused on more highly automated vehicles. From that, we develop risk models and simulations of risk that are informed from data that we gather, but enable us to build simulations of the urban driving environment so that we can assess, for a city, for example, is that type of AV safe enough to operate in our city? This is a considerable question that municipal leaders are interested in having answers to and do not have the capabilities to be able to answer those questions today. There's a movie here that I don't think I have time to show that illustrates some of the work that we've done. You can see in the upper right, we're able to track vehicles, identify their tracks, and from those make predictions. Those are built from the video that we gather on the left. There's a query language in the lower left, and then a graphical interface we can use to identify various aspects in the city scene of these traffic objects. One of the key elements that we're focusing on is near misses. When you look at the aircraft industry, the FAA, for example, learns much more about safety in the air from near misses because those happen more frequently than crashes do. Crashes obviously are terrifically important, but the near misses are really informative about what almost went wrong. That's data that's not gathered in the traffic environment today, but this approach does exactly that. So we are, in fact, building on work that was done at NASA. Colleagues of mine from JPL are part of the team. We're gathering data from various sensors in cities, induction loops, as well as cameras, as well as various other sensors that are used to detect pedestrians, et cetera, Los Angeles, London, other cities, and building a knowledge structure that enables us to capture all of this. Some of this is built on simulation, and some of it is built from actual data that's gathered from traffic circumstances and the various sensors that are available in the urban environment. The network you see in the center is a collection of circumstances in traffic situations. You've all heard about edge cases. In this circumstance, the distance between these objects relates to, or these points in the graph relates to how similar the traffic circumstance is. And as the objects are points in this network are closer to the edge, they are riskier points, so that we literally have a network of cases that we can exhaustively explore that includes not only nominal cases, but the challenging edge cases. And that's, of course, where we concentrate our attention. Large number of potential customers. We're in conversation with all of these different types of customers, everything from city traffic management authorities down to insurers who need to have a way to understand as vehicles get more automated, how can we assess the safety and risk? Does that change our risk profile? Should we change the way that we're offering insurance? Mobility as a service operators are in a key condition to understand and want to know what the safety and risk profiles of their vehicles are. Fleet operators as well. Are there different routes through cities that are safer or less safe? And there's a great deal of overlap between those needs across this customer set. We have a product development strategy to
develop the capability that we're already doing now of gathering information from existing sensors, obviously informed even more as more and more vehicles have onboard sensors and the data from that about safety, using that to build these models and then sell those models into the various verticals that I described earlier. So thank you for your attention. I'll be here through the day and happy to talk with those who are interested.
Thank you very much. Everyone knows that cybersecurity is very important in today's world where everything is connected. Our next company, Regulus Cyber's defense sensors and communication channels. Please welcome Jonathan on stage.
Hi, everybody, and thank you, Plug and Play, for all your great support. So, tell you a little bit about Regulus, but I'll start with a question. What connects these dots? An airliner to a truck to a drone to a container ship, and a container ship to a car. So the answer is quite simple. They've all been GPS hacked this year, and we're talking about real attacks. These are not lab tests done to show vulnerabilities. These are attacks that cause real damages all across these industries. This is an emerging problem that is today starting to be understood. So what kind of attacks do we know? Basically two. Jamming, which is a denial of service attack, and the more sophisticated attack, spoofing, which means you fake a signal that the machine thinks is real. How does it look? So basically, Regulus defends against those direct sensor attacks. We're not a connected security company. We're dealing with real-world attacks, focusing on GNSS, GPS, but also researching LiDAR and radar as other sensors that are vulnerable. This is an example of how an attack looks. Basically, hopefully the film will run. Oh. OK, thanks. So the car in the video, which will start soon. No. OK, I'll skip it. I'll just tell you what you would have seen. Basically, the car will go left at the junction, but the GPS signal, which has been basically hijacked by us, goes right. You can imagine the consequences, obviously. This is an attack that is before the sensor, so it's very hard to identify it after it. So 10 facts about GNSS or GPS that you probably don't know. Why is this interesting? So the cyber threat is really growing rapidly. There's a lot of real-world attacks going on. Security-wise, it's a blue ocean for us. Very little done out of the defense industry because it was only a high-end defense issue so far. It's a very steep and complex technology. It's very hard to enter. It's critical across a very big range of applications. And actually, the European Commission thinks that 7% of GDP in Western countries depend on GNSS or satellites. It's the only source of absolute position, navigation, and time, so it's staying with us. Whatever you'll be using to navigate, HD maps, LiDARs, and so on, still GNSS is very important. $100 billion market already today, with over 8 billion GNSS devices out there soon. Cars, automotive, are 50% of the revenue. So what are we doing? We detect spoofing and jamming, and it's the first protected GNSS solution relevant to the commercial sector, 12 patents, closing the security gap between the high-end receivers and the low-end market. We have three development phases: a software stack, a receiver or an add-on that is for the higher-end market, and maybe the most interesting, an IP core that could change the GNSS chips availability against spoofing. This is what you get out there today. You can put it on a car. It's not very sexy. It's going to cost a lot. We design our stuff for automotive, for mobile, for the market that is not, doesn't have an answer today. Last slide. Incorporated in 2016 in Israel, coming from the defense industry, raised $6.3 million so far, starting OEM pilots and Tier 1 pilots today, and we're discussing on convertible funding, so happy to discuss it afterwards. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I once used to play basketball, and the next presenter played basketball on pogo sticks. Please welcome Bobby from Voicee.
Hi, I'm Bobby, one of the founders of Voicee. At Voicee, we synthesize ultra-realistic human speech. This means we use the latest machine learning architectures to produce the best-sounding text-to-speech engines. And our voices are so realistic, people cannot reliably tell them apart from actual humans. And there's two really great features of this. The first is better customer engagement, longer and more enjoyable interactions with consumers. And the second is you can produce long-form media, things like news articles, audiobooks, conversations that traditionally sound too boring and monotonous when spoken by traditional text-to-speech engines. We can deploy this solution to any specific business environment. We work with businesses to develop a custom voice that we can deploy to our high-scale, low-latency cloud or on-prem, or we can create an on-device SDK that you can deploy on a device that needs to have a voice even when there is no internet. We allow customization through our markup language and allow further humanization with applying human emotions. We also work with customers to work out their machine learning pipeline so they can get the best, most valuable experience out of our engine. I want to quickly give you guys a demo, so I want to introduce Steven.
Hi, I'm Steven, a voice produced by Voicee.
I'll have him read a few things, so we'll start with this.
I can't believe you would take my things without asking.
And this?
Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a princess in a big castle.
So right there, that's a pretty typical text-to-speech engine. Sounds as good as about everyone else, but nothing particularly special. We can do so much better, though. Let's take the first one. Perhaps you want Steven to sound angry.
I can't believe you would take my things without asking.
And for the second one, perhaps you want a more narrative, emphatic tone.
Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a princess in a big castle.
So that's all I have time for right in this presentation, but if you want to learn more or hear more examples, come find me in the demo hall. We work in a variety of verticals. Voice interfaces is one big one, things like voice assistants, call centers, automobiles, of course, appliances, robots. These things where the customer interaction is paramount and the enjoyability brings people back and really drives the innovation in this space. We also work in the media production, things like news articles, audiobooks, commercials, podcasts, voiceovers, things where people need a high-quality voice, and also the flexibility an engine provides allows for greater automation and freedom in this space. And finally, we work in the cutting-edge content personalization space, automated dubbing for international content, voice cloning, personal avatars, things like that. Again, I'm Bobby from Voicee. We synthesize ultra-realistic human speech. We want to work with any business. Even if you have an existing engine or want to deploy one for the first time, we can help you. And we want you to build the best products, and we'll provide the best voice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next presenter is an elite marathon runner, Ironman finisher, a globally high-ranked athlete. Summer, please run up on stage and tell us more about Wavelength.
So hi, everyone. We are Wavelength, and we are an early-stage startup. Our founding team is a team of AI and computer vision experts that used to work at Microsoft HoloLens team, Intel, Qualcomm, and professor at UC Berkeley teaching machine learning course. What problem are we solving? Every year, thousands of people are killed annually by drowsiness, due to drowsiness or for distracted driving, and we want to prevent this from happening. So this is our solution. This is what we call a co-pilot product. It has the external perception, ADAS function, and internal driver monitoring system running simultaneously on one single device. So here is a real-time demo with me driving. You can see that the internal driver monitoring system can track my face, my eyes. Even when I wear sunglasses, it can still tell my gaze direction and be able to tell whether I'm distracted or drowsy. The external perception, we can recognize different objects on the road, including cars, traffic lights, pedestrian, hundreds of different objects. So the underlying technology to empower this is our Edge AI solution, which is a tiny CNN and computer vision algorithm. And here's a demo of our external perception running at night, and we can track different objects in very low light conditions reliably. Here's a diagram of our product architecture. We are building this real-time edge AI analysis platform on the connected IoT device, which aggregate DMS information, ADAS, and car information like acceleration and braking, and provide real-time alerts, automatically capture the accident, upload to the cloud. And the top layer is the big data engine that provides tracking the driver behaviors, reconstruct the accident, analyze the cause of accident, be able to determine which party at fault, provide a telematic service, and monetization these features. So we are a software company. So we partner with manufacturer to produce the hardware product. We intend to give the hardware for free. Our business model is we charge a monthly service fee from consumers, and we provide a big data analytics and monetization from their enterprise customers. So we currently work with fleet companies, insurance company, and OEM and tier ones in providing values to our enterprise customers. So our go-to-market strategy, we are working with the biggest insurance company, Ping An Insurance, in launching our product in the China market. We also working with a few OEMs in integrate our product into the cars. So in summary, our key differentiations is number one, technology. Our AI solution is so optimized and lightweight that we can enable internal and external perception on a single low-power device. Second, science. We can monitor the condition of the driver and detect the early signs of drowsiness and fatigue. And third, the big data. We can automatically analyze the accident cause and help the insurance company to process the insurance claims. So here is a video and showing our product user experience that you can see our product can monitor the driver and provide ADAS, real-time alerts, track driving behaviors, and Face ID. And on top layer, in the cloud, we can rate the drivers, provide telematic service, and help insurance company adjust insurance rate and process claims easier. Please visit our booth afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next presenter is a pilot. And not only does he know how to fly a plane, he has also dived off from the plane in a co-pilot mode. Please welcome the next James Bond, Keith from Inhalio.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Keith Kelson, the CEO of Inhalio. We created a platform for scent, for smell. And why we did that is really because we want you to be in the best mood that you could possibly be in. Let's talk about scent just for a moment. It is the most powerful sense that we have. It's most memorable sense that we have, and it sits in the emotional center of the brain. Now, Scent 2.0 came along with the French. They invented fragrance. Why? To cover up bad smells. Well, welcome to Scent 3.0. Scent 3.0 is actually a platform that's integrated into the operating system of the vehicle. It's intelligent, and it also, on the back end, we manage supply, usage, and data for the recurring revenue, which is razors and razor blades. So there's basically 5 components to the system. There's a back-end cloud platform. There's firmware and APIs that sit on devices, and smart cartridges that complete that system, and sensors that trigger scent systems. So when you start to think about the emotional reaction we have with scent, good or bad, we're adding these positive reactions, and we can change your mood in a vehicle. It can be relaxed, energized, focused, happy. We don't do sad, by the way. And it is also a multiple cartridge unit. So we have solutions today that we are implementing later in 2019 embedded in vehicles. But we also have future mobility solutions. One of them, how many people have gotten in an Uber or rideshare and it smelled bad? Show of hands? Yeah, happens every single minute. So we have solutions where we have a sensor that can recognize 5 bad human biomarkers and then mask that with scent. We also have a solution for autonomous vehicles. We know that 33% of people will get motion sick in vehicles. And so we have a solution for that. We've done some testing around that where we've been able to lower or eliminate motion sickness. So we do have customers on the retail side in Walmart, Yoplait, in retail fragrance with some of the top fragrance companies, Dior, Honest Company, Estee Lauder, L'Oreal. We have a list of those. We do have, in automotive, we do have an embedded project coming up in 2019. And we have confidential, of course, connected home projects as well for Scent in Home. So I'm Keith Kelson, Inhalio. We are in the sweet smell of success phase. If you'd like to know more, follow your nose over to the demo table, and we have some experiences there that that we can show you. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. The next presenter may in fact have been replaced by her identical twin sister, Becky, but please welcome Kirsty, or Becky, or someone from Latent Logic.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and great to be here today at Plug and Play. So my company, Latent Logic, is focused on solving this problem. We help autonomous systems, starting with self-driving cars, to understand us humans. So we don't make self-driving cars, but we are focused on the biggest worry that keeps self-driving car companies awake at night, which is how do I know that my car is safe with us humans? There's only one way you can test if your car is safe, and that is to use simulation. That's why Waymo, we all know Waymo, they drive 8 million miles a day in simulation. That's why regulators, like the Department for Transport here, are saying that they need to use simulations before they can license a car to be safe on the road. So if humans are the problem, and if you need to use simulation to know that your car is safe, what does this mean you need? You need a realistic model of human behavior in simulation. And that's where my company comes in. We take footage from ordinary traffic cameras, of which there are hundreds in California alone, like this one. And we use 2 powerful AI technologies to learn that behavior. Starting with computer vision, that's what you can see going on here. That is automatically detecting the behavior of the cars, the cyclists, the pedestrians in this scene. We're doing all of that automatically, remotely, with no manual labeling. And then next up, we use our proprietary imitation learning technology to learn the behavior of those road users. So each one of the cars that you see in the video behind me is being driven by an Latent Logic AI-powered brain that's telling it what to do. We haven't coded in any of this. We haven't told it where to drive or how to drive, how fast to drive. We haven't told it what a roundabout is or a traffic circle. It's doing all of that just through watching a video. And with this technology, this enables you to build uniquely realistic simulations of any city in the world. So if you're developing a self-driving car, maybe you've done your driving here in California, but you want to expand to China, you need to know what Chinese people behave like. And that's why you need our simulation technology. So the solution's there and it works, but why should you believe in us? It's a big market, it's a big problem, so £40 billion will be spent on developing self-driving cars and testing self-driving cars, sorry, in the next 5 years. And we're well positioned to capitalize on that opportunity because we are first to market. But we can retain that advantage. No one else has the realism and scalability of our technologies, and we can retain that advantage because our technology is patent pending, it's proprietary, and it's from Oxford. So it's super, super rock solid, and it just keeps getting smarter. And we've got great customer engagement. So since I was last up on this stage in September, we've signed up our first paid pilots, we've launched a £4 million project, and we have loads more pilots lined up for next year, thanks to the great folk here at Plug and Play. There's one more thought I want to leave you with. And it's not 5, it's actually not 6, it's 7. So 7 are the number of lives that have been lost in road accidents since I got up on this stage about 3 minutes ago. All those lives could be saved by self-driving cars, but only if they're safer than us human drivers. And for that, you need our technology, you need to test in simulation, you need to know your car is safer than a human. That's why this matters, that's why I'm here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsty. Next up, we have a celebrity from Israeli national TV. Please, Aviv from Enroute. Please welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Yay, thank you very, very much. Okay, guys, let's embark on a journey to the future. It's the year 2030. You're getting into the car, and the car starts driving by itself. And for the next 20, 30, 40 minutes, your captive audience in mobility, because the self-driving car revolution will create a new currency. And this currency is free time, the time you're commuting, going out with friends. According to Morgan Stanley, this time stands for 600 billion hours free for people to do lots of things. And one of the things people already do in similar situations is very interesting. It's actually online shopping. So apparently in the UK, 20% of all online shopping already occurs during commute, not in self-driving cars, but in taxis, ride-hailing, buses, trains. That's more than $13 billion each year. In Canada, the average commute commerce spend per user is more than $400 each month. And, well, we do not need to wait for the self-driving cars, because already today, when you're in an Uber or in a Lyft, you are in a self-driving car with a driver. Your captive audience, you have free time. That is why we're building our SDK. It's a personalized interaction platform. So we analyze lots of data coming, first of all, about the context of the ride, the destination, the route. And on the other hand, we know many things which are relevant about the passenger. And we want to give people more than getting them from point A to point B. And if we have this equation and we add businesses, we can do something that people tell us is a bit crazy, and that is allowing people to ride for free. So how do people ride for free? It's actually a sort of a game. It's a gamified experience. They shop. So you can see that every product that Jane here adds to a shopping cart decreases the amount she has to pay until the ride is free. So in terms of technology, we're segmentizing the products and clusterizing the users, and we're doing something even deeper, because we can connect passengers to locations. We can tap into inventory of existing locations. So let's take this guy. He needs to buy a cake for his son's birthday. We can tap into the inventory of this nice patisserie on the road so he can click, collect, and ride for free. So this is our current partner network, many, many retailers that you know of. And as of this week, we are live with our first project with Deutsche Bahn, which is the national German railway company. So if you are in the Hamburg area this week and we want to buy something for your loved ones for Christmas, you can shop and maybe ride for free. And we also are part of Startup Autobahn in Stuttgart and here in Plug and Play, and recently got a grant from the European Union. So we're starting with mobility services, but actually the future is the self-driving car, and that will be an immersive mobile device. So, guys, thank you very much. Join the ride, because we are already en route.
Thank you very much. Next up, Populus is with cities from from one coast to the other, as well as federal agencies to help them access and harness data to plan for the future of transportation. Please welcome Regina.
Hi, great to be here. Thanks so much for having me here at Plug and Play. We are building a data platform for the future of mobility to help cities and new mobility operators work more seamlessly together. When I was a research scientist at Stanford 5 years ago, my research was indicating that shared mobility services such as Uber, Lyft, and now we've seen dockless bike share and scooter share explode dramatically this year, were rapidly accelerating. They were being launched at an unprecedented pace, and the key challenge was that cities weren't able to keep up. They were basically in the dark about how these services were changing how people were moving in their cities, leading to more congestion and less efficiency. I had a hunch when I started Populus last year that the regulatory environment would start to change. And in 2018, we've definitely seen that happen. New York City's placed a cap on Uber and Lyft vehicles, and cities literally all over the world are passing regulation on electric scooters. Madrid is kicking out Lime and Bird for not sharing data on trips from point A to point B. And the challenge is that the reporting compliance on the part of new mobility operators is painful and inefficient, and cities don't have a lot of resources to effectively use that data, which is where Populus comes in. We're a trusted third-party data platform that helps private operators deliver their data to cities to plan better transportation services. We're already ingesting real-time data from every major operator, including Lime, Uber, which was bought by, or Jump, which was bought by Uber, Lyft's bike share services and scooter services, as well as Spin, which was recently acquired by Ford. And we deliver that data to cities through an intuitive, easy-to-use interface that allows them to make important decisions such as, where should I add more protected bike infrastructure, or where could I carve off parking spots to allow shared vehicles to use them? The mobility data market is estimated to be a $500 billion industry, and we believe that cities are the key to unlocking that market because they plan how our streets should be used, and they are increasingly taking control of the situation and requiring that these operators deliver that data to them, and we will be their partner in doing that. Our key unfair advantage is that we're built by a team of industry experts. We've been building software for public agencies for over 10 years, ranging from the Federal Aviation Administration to the Bay Area Regional Transportation Authority. I have a PhD in transportation from MIT. My co-founder Fletcher has a PhD in transportation from UC Berkeley. Together, we're a rockstar team, and we have been thought leaders in the space for over a decade, and many of the players on all sides, from operators to trusted evaluators at research institutions and the cities themselves, trust us implicitly to be able to bridge the gap between private disruptive innovation and slower moving governmental change that needs to occur to catch up to where citizens want to be. As we've mentioned, we're already working with cities from coast to coast. In less than 9 months, we've signed on marquee customers, including the city of Seattle and the DC metro area. And our exciting announcement this week is that we now have Lime as a customer, the micromobility company that's valued at over $1 billion. We are now taking in GPS data from their real-time car-sharing fleet in order to deliver that data to the city of Seattle and to validate their use of parking spots. It's a really critical first step for cities to be able to gain access to that type of data in order to identify pickup and drop-off zones and parking areas for the future of autonomous vehicles. We believe the future is multimodal, but there need to be solutions to help these private mobility operators work more effectively with cities, and we're excited to be at the center of all of that action. I'm going to be here all day and excited to speak with more of you. Come visit us at our demo table and check out some of our data. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next presenter once created an escape room and still owns one. But you're not escaping this room unless you step on stage and tell us more about it. Please welcome Shahar from MDGo.
Thank you so much. Hoping not to escape this room. Hi, everybody. My name is Shahar Samuelov, and I lead the business development for MDGo. MDGo is an Israeli startup that is aiming to bring the medical point of view into the automotive space. And the first use case we do that in is car accidents. Like many of my colleagues here mentioned, car accident is a real issue today. Up until we're waiting for the autonomous vehicles, it's still happening on our roads. And the biggest problem that we identify today is the lack of information in real time describing the accident. Also the injuries, but also the car damages. The two major industries that are impacted by that are the medical and healthcare industry, the EMS and the trauma units that have no idea what happened in the accident, what are the injuries, where should the injured people be evacuated to. And the second industry is the insurance industry that is still handling a lot of fraud, long claim process, and exposure to overpayments. So what we do, we try to bridge this gap with real-time information from the vehicle itself, utilizing connectivity and sensors in vehicles to analyze and create a real-time report for the injuries and the car damages. Our technology is pretty much validated today. This is a crash test that we've done in the Netherlands a couple of weeks back. We put a couple of crash test dummies inside, created a scenario for an accident, and tried to estimate what are the damages and the forces that those dummies will suffer. You can see the differences between our predictions and the actual forces that were applied on the dummies to understand that our accuracy rate is very, very much high. Each of those graphs represents a different organ and the forces applied to it. But that's not the end report that we want to provide. Our customers, we would like to provide actionable insights based on actually understanding the damages happen to the vehicle, both the exteriors and the internal parts, and also, of course, the injuries to the people. So you can actually evaluate what should be the cost of your claim, or if you're an EMS, understand what you will meet in the scene. Today, we utilize a very basic set of sensors, accelerometer and GPS, to provide this value. But as more and more sensors will be integrated to the vehicles, we would like to also include them in our platform and bring also value from incoming cameras and heart rates to provide additional products for the health insurance industry as well. Today, we're connected in Israel to 250,000 vehicles, working with the first responders, sending them notification about an accident. And I want to show you a little bit about how we look at it from the back end. Today, when we see a report about an accident, this is what our system sees. Actually, we reconstruct the whole scene of the accident and understand exactly what are the damages. And the output for that, you can see in the damage for the vehicle here, is being sent to our customers, in this case, the EMS. And we further validate that on scene with their collaboration. So you can see this is an image from an actual crash test. You can see the differences, which are very similar between what we predicted that happened to the vehicle and what actually happened on scene. Talking a little bit about numbers, we reported 212 accidents so far, with a mechanism accuracy of 100% and the injury severity accuracy of 92%. That means that we are almost fully accurate when you compare it to the log of the first responders. Those are some nice things that they're saying about us today. We think that this is the next step regarding road safety and insurance process claims management. And today we want to take it to the next level, expand globally, and find the additional partners to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shahar. Next presenter, we sure hope he doesn't have a jet lag after his long flight from Spain. Next up, we have David from Zeleros. Please welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Hi, everyone. I'm David Pistoni, CEO and co-founder of Zeleros, and I'm here to invite you to be part of the history of transportation with us. But first, let's see what's happening today in our planet. We have an increasing aerospace congestion, both for cargo and passengers. We have only 3% of the railway lines working at high speeds, and we are losing hours and hours in traffic every day and breaking new pollution records. That's why we need long-term solutions, and here is where Hyperloop comes in. Hyperloop is basically a train levitating inside a tube in vacuum. In this way, we avoid the friction with the rails, we avoid the friction with the air, we can achieve speeds up to 1,000 kilometers per hour with a really low energy consumption. Everything started 4 years ago at the Elon Musk competition, where we won the best Hyperloop propulsion system and the best Hyperloop propulsion system, proposals for Hyperloop. Today, we are Zeleros. We are developing our own vision of Hyperloop together with our partners, and we are not alone. The Hyperloop market is growing really fast. There are different companies around the world developing this kind of technologies, also in China and Korea. And so what makes us different from others? In our case, we believe in Hyperloop not only as the faster way of transportation, but also as a scalable technology to connect long distances. And how we can achieve this? We are combining our own propulsion system with our own levitation system, both validated and patented. And now, with this combination, we can reduce infrastructure cost, we can reduce the maintenance, and thanks to our propulsion system, we have also safer pressures for the passengers, and we reduce the infrastructure energy consumption because our pressure is higher. We simplify saying it's vacuum, but actually it's low pressure inside the tube, not vacuum. So today, we are 30 people working full-time in the project, coming from top companies around the world. We are collaborating with different firms, research centers, and also we have the support of different institutions internationally, helping to grow and to develop and make real this technology that is coming. Our projections are based on a first stage of development, applying our technologies to other industries. Then we will be ready to implement real routes together with our partners, first for cargo and then for passengers. We are finishing our first stage of development, validating our technologies and patenting and optimizing these technologies. Our next big step is to include our technologies in a vehicle and test it in a 2-kilometer test track. We already have this space confirmed in Spain. And the next step is scale the technologies first for cargo and then for passengers. We are securing our seed round, and we are preparing the next one for completing this stage. That is one important step to be close to this technology that we will come really soon. And this is our vision of the world connected as a metro line, but at high speeds. This is a really short video about our vision.
Imagine continents connected in a matter of minutes. Imagine the comfort of the metro at the speed of a plane. Imagine a scalable and zero-emissions global means of transportation. This dream has a name, and it's closer than you can possibly imagine. Welcome to Zeleros Hyperloop.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next company just raised $10 million. Please welcome Bruno Picard from Silicon Mobility.
Bonjour, hello. I'm Bruno Picard, I'm the CEO of Silicon Mobility. What brings us together in that room today is the case connected, autonomous, shared, and electrified vehicle. Those technologies bring new challenges in terms of real-time processing and in terms of functional safety. Those challenges can be solved through software-alone solution. So what we did to solve those challenges is we put together a new architecture of product that we call an FPCU that embed two of our technologies. One is a technology, flexible hardware that we use, that our customers are using to accelerate and remove the bottlenecks of their real-time issues. Another technology is named Silent, is a technology ASIL-D level, so the highest level of safety, to process and detect and correct a fault in less than 10 nanoseconds. If you look at the performances, achieved by an FPCU architecture, we go at least 40 times faster than our closest competition in terms of data processing. We go at least 1,000 times faster in terms of fault detection, containment, and correction on functional safety issues, and we reduce by almost 200 the power supply needed for the component. We use those performances in order to embed unique algorithms that will all participate to an energy saving and efficiency improvement. We improve the efficiency of vehicle by a factor of 50 to 70%. It's done without any additional ASIC, DSP, FPGA around. It saves a lot of bill of materials. And there is no compromise in terms of system performance. All the technology is totally customizable, and so we save months of development at our customer site. We apply this energy efficiency in 3 areas in cars, in electrified cars, on inverters to control the e-motor, on DC-DC converters in order to convert the energy from the battery to the e-motors, and on onboard charger. If we translate this 50 to 70% energy improvement into autonomy improvement or into energy gain, we reach a number of 32% here that could be applied to, of course, range extension, also to pollution reduction for hybrid and electrified vehicle, and we will save also in terms of chemical usage. It's not only a chip, it's a full stack solution that is on top of the chip coming with a tooling, calling with content, the algorithms that I was talking about, and calling with application that are used by our customer to connect with their own architecture. The chip is automotive ready, qualified, ready for production. All the supply chain is aligned, and we are today at a stage on which we have 16 paying customers in 6 key areas, mostly in Europe, now in China, in the US. We signed a big deal a couple of weeks ago, in Japan and in China. About 20 proof of concept has been put together, inverter, DC-DC, and onboard charger. We are on 7 tier 1 platform development ongoing right now for 4 OEM platform projects. And the start of production, the first vehicle that would be equipped with our technology would be on the road in Q4 2019. I don't have a video here, but we have a pretty nice demo in our demo table, and you are all invited to come to see it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Last but not least, the next company builds a living HD maps for autonomous vehicles to better operate on streets. Please welcome Jesse from Carmera.
Thank you. Last but not least, right? My name's Jesse Lazarus, and I'm head of ecosystem at Carmera, where we're building the world's most robust street intelligence platform for autonomous mobility. A little bit about the company. So we're headquartered in New York and Seattle. Our leadership team is comprised of folks from autonomous systems transit design at Princeton. We've got the CTO of MakerBot, product executives from Google, engineering leadership from Amazon and Apple Maps. And before I joined, I was the chief digital officer for New York City. Our flagship product is the Carmera Autonomous Map, and this is a high-definition mapping suite for autonomous vehicles. We think of maps as a critical gating factor for autonomous vehicle deployments. They're helping the AV brains answer the 3 questions they're constantly asking, which are, where am I seeing what I think I'm seeing, and where should I go next? We're solving this problem by combining a LiDAR RGB scan to create the base map with real-time semantic change detection data on top. So last year, we came out of stealth, and this is a video that's eventually going to play. But I'll tell you a little bit about, so we came out of stealth, and we announced our partnership as the mapping provider for the leading AV research institutions, MSU, Michigan State University and University of Michigan. This is a video showing that even though the car can't see the lane line because it's covered in snow, it's staying in the lane, and so that's part of the localization feature. But also last year, we won the industry's first comprehensive evaluation of HD maps and secured a long-term partnership with the self-driving taxi company Voyage. Since then, we've also won engagements with the world's leading OEMs, mobility as a service companies, and delivery robotics and trucking companies. We're trying to keep pace with the demand for this product in the US and in Korea and Japan and Europe. So we raised a Series B last summer that Google Ventures led. And something that GV was really attracted to, it's something that we value a lot, is that we're able to provide our customers data that is sort of independent from their own data. And we do this by providing a telematics service, a visual telematics service to delivery companies or any sort of professional fleets. We mount a powerful but very inexpensive sensor on the top of their vehicles. And so for this reason, we're able to make sure that we're keeping our maps up to date and in real time with incredible coverage ratios. Something that is interesting about this is that as a result of the visual telematics service, we have collected what we believe is the most comprehensive collection of complex, dense driving environments from all over the world, and have used that to really fine-tune our sophisticated algorithms for change detection. Another differentiator is that we make a lot of the data that we create in the process of building these maps available to cities and to regulators. We believe that for autonomous mobility to reach its real potential, a true win-win data sharing agreement between the public and the private is going to be required, and our maps become this amazing level of connective tissue, connecting the public and the private side here, sharing high-value data like pedestrian density, real-time event detection, construction, et cetera, without compromising trade secrets or competitiveness on the private sector side. And we're giving this data away for free to cities. Wearing my former policymaker hat, I would have loved for some of this information when making decisions about how to regulate and support the best kinds of transit ecosystem in a city. We're so happy to be here. I'll be at the booth later. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jesse. So we're going to play a very short video on the back of your name badges. There are 2 links. Please don't forget to vote for the People's Choice Award for the startup presentations. And there is the Brella app to set up the one-on-one meetings with the startup companies on the networking tables outside. And the demo tables are going to be located right behind me in this wall. After the voting session, if you have an IoT sticker, please come back by 12:55 for the IoT session. Thank you.
Many people living the corporate life always want to have all questions answered at the beginning, but sometimes it's very important just to find the right people with the right idea and just start it. We look at startups to close technology gaps. So working with startups with fresh ideas in this field really helps us to bridge between old school automotive and new school cloud technologies, for example. The biggest roadblock is to bring technology back to the corporation. And really the timing is a problem that we need to be very upfront with startups and tell them, look, this engagement can take 3 to 6 months until we achieve something significant. And there is no way to accelerate that just simply because that's how corporations work. We have events that we organize at least once a year where we have executives and specialists really come over. We do send many startups also to Germany and have them pitch in front of our executives. And that's how we really got the organization excited, understanding that this is really not just a few kids, but really the top people in the world doing innovation. Plug and Play is just a great resource that helps searching for startups and do a pre-selection for us and brings us together with them without us spending too much time only on sourcing ourselves. Spend a lot of time in the beginning here, especially when you're coming for the first time to the Bay Area. Spend a lot of time at Plug and Play with other corporate partners, learn and listen what mistakes they've made and what they would recommend not to do. And then just speak to many startups and start to get a feeling for what's the difference between good tech and get a feeling for that.
You're going to have to give us a couple more minutes while we tally up the votes. The winner for the startup presentation today is going to be MD Go. Do you want to say a couple words?
Yes.
All right.
I wanted to thank everybody that supported us along this long journey of 2 hours. And wish you a great day and see you in the booth. Thank you very much.
That was really quick. All right, thank you everybody for coming. The IoT session is going to be at 5. Please stop by the startup demo tables behind us if you want to learn more about their technologies. Thank you, everyone.